Modern Belfast was founded in 1603. Popular entertainment started around 1650 when people started going to inns and taverns to drink and sing. The Cathedral Quarter was an impoverished area, but it laid claim to a number of establishments, for example Sir Moses Sellers, White's Tavern and Morning Star. By the mid-1830s, as in Britain, a growing middle class wanted something more refined than drunken revelry. The solution was a singing saloon, where those of a more genteel nature could enjoy a drink and entertainment. The earliest example is a new harmonic saloon which was built onto the Plough Hotel in Castle Lane in 1832. Other examples were the Shakespeare Hotel and the Star Concert Rooms. As singing saloons became more popular, a further development was needed to cater for all. The Alhambra on North Street was Ireland's first purpose-built music hall, opening on the 11th of September 1871. Some of the biggest stars of that era performed there, such as Florrie Ford.
Reside by the side of the silvery sea. But when you're just a common old garden Smith or Jones or Brown, at Christmas up in town, you've got to settle down. You save up all the money you can till summer comes around, then away you go.
Competition for the Alhambra came from the Olympia Palace, the Star, the Royal Hippodrome, the Gaiety, the Empire, the Royal, May Street Music Hall and Ulster Hall. After the First World War, technological advances meant that music halls were competing with cinema, radio and cheaper gramophones. These gave people access to other genres of music, especially dance music such as jazz, big band, swing and later rock and roll. Eventually, most of the music halls either closed completely or were converted to cinemas. This left a musical space which the show band era stepped in to fill.
Hey baby, it's your Georgie, Porgy. I'm too young to die. Hey baby, it's your Georgie, Porgy. It's your ever-loving guy.
The North traditionally produced top-class musicians, and Belfast became a hotbed for show band activity. Most of the dance halls were clustered around what is now the Cathedral Quarter. These were Romano's, the Plaza, the Celebrity Club, the Orpheus, Starlight, the Astor and Maxim's.
If I ventured in the slipstream between the viaducts of your dream, where mobile steel rims crack and the ditch and the back road stop, could you find me? Or would you kiss my eyes, laying you down? The silence easy to be born again, to be born again. From the far side of the ocean, if I put the wheels in motion, and I stand with my arms behind me, and I'm pushing out the door, could you find me? Would you kiss my eyes? Belfast, Belfast.
The re-emergence of the Troubles in the late 60s killed the beat scene and the show bands. Touring bands would not visit the city and most people stayed in at night. It was not until 1977, after the Clash's cancelled gig in Ulster Hall, that people set about putting an end to the musical dread.
The Harp Bar, I played there lots of times. Today it's a strip club, but then it was the home of Belfast punk, with bands like Rudy and the Outcasts.
People usually say with Northern Ireland bands there is a difference, because there seems to be a bit more aggression in the music. Like Northern Ireland, you know, kids here sort of need that sort of more aggression in music more. It gives them a chance to work out their aggressions in songs, music things, rather than out in the streets. Like punk rock in Belfast have done an awful lot to sort of bring the two communities together, things like that, you know. So think that aggression in the music sort of brings the two communities together. Like, it's something which everybody knows about here. I think it could be something to do with that. There's a bit more desperation in everything, you know.
In Belfast, punk gave people from all backgrounds a reason to get together and bridge the social divide that had developed throughout the Troubles, and most of the activity happened in venues in the Cathedral Quarter. For example, the Harp Bar in Hill Street has achieved iconic status for its contribution to the punk scene. There was also the Anarchy Centre on Long Lane and the Warzone Centre on Donegal Street, both of which promoted an anarchist ideology and provided cafes, t-shirt and fanzine printing, as well as being a music venue. All of the local bands such as Rudy, Victim, Outcast, Stiff Little Fingers and Undertones passed through these venues, as well as hundreds of international bands. All of the venues have closed, but the Warzone Collective, which ran the Warzone Centre, is currently regrouping in response to corruption, unemployment and climate change to have another go. Discomania took hold after punk started to recede into the background in the 80s, and reached its climax in the 90s despite intensified violence in the early part of the decade. 90s DJs also adopted the DIY attitude of the punks, overcoming the lack of a music industry by creating one for themselves. One of the earliest DIY house music clubs took place in the Plaza, where a mix of soul, high-energy punk, goth and electro was played. Today, music has a new role to play in the Cathedral Quarter of Belfast. The area has been redeveloped as the cultural quarter, and music will be an important means of attracting people into the city. Looking towards the future, the OEM Music Centre has arrived to Hill Street and aims to unite the Belfast music scene.
Basically, it's very, very unusual. I mean, when we first, Stuart and myself and Johnny Quinn from Snow Patrol stole the Nerve Centre's idea to set up something like this. We never expected to find a place like this. Place was with all these rooms and a studio already built in it, and right in the heart of the Cathedral Quarter, and just it seemed so perfect having a place to rehearse. I used to rehearse in my mum and dad's garage or a friend of ours' living room, but only when our mum and dad or his mum and dad was out. And you know, if ever they came back early or whatever, that was the end of the rehearsal, you know. So this is a kind of a concrete, literally, place for them to flourish in, hopefully. And it's going to mean a lot.
Well, I'm caught one more time up on Cypress Avenue. I'm caught one more time up on Cypress Avenue.